Hey, this is Brenda Devine from Purpose 8 Institute, and we are continuing our conversation about how I discovered my purpose. We are up to point number 12 out of 14 different points about how I discovered my purpose. Now, I can't tell you how to discover your purpose, so I'm sharing with you how I discovered my purpose. And yes, this video looks like the one right before it because I've combed my hair and I have my makeup on. So why not just go ahead and do the next video? Yes. So number 12 out of the 14, and it's a little long, so I'm going to read it. It's fear will encircle you. Satan will whisper, you are not enough. You can't do it. Listen to God. Be obedient and walk through the door. Afraid. God is with you. Now, the previous post on 11, we talked about wrestling with your flesh, aligning yourself to God's will, because really you're doing something that you don't want to do and you're not comfortable doing it and you never would have thought about doing it. But now you've committed yourself to it. And you're going to find yourself prompted to do, as I said, something that's uncomfortable to you. So, we like to be comfortable. Most of us don't like to be challenged. We like to live in the box that we've been living in. So once you've made the commitment to answer God's calling, there is no more living in a box, okay? There is no more. You have talents and gifts that you haven't even brushed the surface on. There is so much more to you that you don't even understand. I don't fully understand everything that has changed with me in the last 5 years. I don't really understand all of it, but I do understand that it has all been God. It has definitely not been me. It has been the talents and skills that He has put in me to do the things that I have done. So you're going to become uncomfortable. And you're going to have 1,000 reasons of why. You're going to hear Satan tell you, you can't do this, you're too old, you don't have any money, you're not the right color, you're not the right sex, you don't have the right education, you don't have any friends, that's not even you. Why are you doing that? Blah, 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 blah. Your friends, you don't tell them what you're doing, they're going to be looking at you like, what? You? Why? What you doing? And just looking at you strange. But guess what? It doesn't matter because you have a purpose and you've committed to it. And so now you've got to basically be who you said you were. So my experience a couple of years ago, I had been looking for a building and found one, and it was way more than I could afford. And I kept praying about that building, and it was something about when I went into it, when I went in it, it was just calling me, and that I made an offer on it. But before I made an offer on it, I wrestled with it for at least 2 weeks because it was more than I could afford, and it would have required me to financially do things that I did not want to do. But I had made up my mind and come to the crossroads that I had to make a decision that am I going to be who I said I was going to be, said I am? And am I going to be the person that God has called me to be? And if I couldn't do it, He wouldn't have given it to me to do. So it took 2 weeks of wrestling and crying and praying, and it was one of the most emotionally draining experiences that I've ever had. So I finally made that decision to And I remember being in the shower and I was talking to God and we were just having a back and forth. And I was like, okay, I'm going to walk off this cliff. And I walked off the cliff thinking I was going to fall. And then I walked and he caught me. So I made the offer. The offer person didn't want to accept the offer, but I made the offer. I did what I was asked to do. I was obedient to it. Just because it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go, that didn't mean that that's not what God wanted me to do. It may have been more of he wanted to see if I was going to be obedient to what he asked me to do. And I was. And because I was obedient, I could honestly say in my heart that I proved out my faith that I was who I said I was. And so that was my experience. As I said, very emotional. But that was that first one. That was significant of, I was scared. I really was scared. It was an experience I will never forget. But the thing is, that experience gave me the platform for the next building and the next building and the next project. And each one may not have gone the way I thought, but each one was a level of obedience, a level of faith, because each one was bigger than the last, each one more complex, and each one required for me to submit and be obedient. But it was that first one that I wrestled over that taught me that I needed what my weaknesses were. And my weaknesses were the finances. And my weaknesses were being control and letting go. So those weaknesses were revealed. And that's just part of the process. You will find out things about yourself that you've never considered, for the good and for the bad. Things about you that pride and jealousy and insecurities that you thought that you had hid, and here they come to the surface, and they're standing between you and your purpose, and you have to make the decision of what am I going to do? Am I going to be the person that God has called me to be? Or am I going to put it aside and say, no, not now. No, I'm not going to do that. So I decided that I could not go on in life not being who he called me to be. So I chose to be obedient. And I am so glad that I am. So sharing that with you. And I don't know what else to say, but it is definitely a journey. And I appreciate every step, and I know that you will too. So I'm going to let you go. This is Brenda Devine from Purpose 8 Institute. Hey, I will talk to you in a little bit. Bye-bye.